In the last video, I embarked on a mission to create the ultimate shoot-'em-up game for my next Android masterpiece. I successfully managed to make the player movement as smooth as silk, just like the legendary Skyforce. The weapon fire and movement were working like a charm, but I knew that it wasn't enough to satisfy the hunger of my beloved audience. It was time to take things up a notch and add some spice to the mix. I needed to make a game more interesting by adding enemies and environment that would make your jaw drop faster than the speed of light. And so I rolled up my sleeves, grabbed my trusty keyboard and got to work. First of all, I documented everything I needed for enemies and the bosses. I also planned out stages that the game will have, including difficulty levels, stats, enemy types each stages will have, and their description of what they are specialized into. Taking the inspiration from the classic Skyforce game, I decided to create the new shoot-'em-up game with my own unique twist. I admit I've copied mechanics of weapon fire, collectibles and power-ups, but wait, I've given them fresh new spin by calling the collectibles bits and renaming the Mega Bomb to Shockwave. Yeah, I know, I'm genius. While the similarities to Skyforce are striking, I'm here to put my own stamp on this game. I'm creating a brand new story and adding fresh mechanics that will leave players on the edge of their seats. The concept of the first enemy, Hexapod, is it will be in the shape of hexagon, but proportionally I cannot actually make a 3D hexagon, so I decided to go with the pentagon, but I'll still be calling it Hexapod. I animated its idle animation so it'll feel more like a digital being. Previously, I made these drones for my AR game, so like that I created new animations for hexapods by following the path animation. Then I imported them into Unity engine. By doing this, I was able to create unique movements and behaviors for the hexapod. So now they are challenging for the players to defeat. Or are they? They are not really. The next step was to add some environment because the scene looked pretty empty. I wanted to create the city like the one in the movie Wreck-It Ralph, with a digital look as if it's inside the internet cable or something similar. I modeled the roads in the Blender and added the tower for the turret enemy to spawn and fire bullets. Then I created a turret enemy itself in Blender using the same hexapods I made earlier. I also designed the flying turret with two barrels to shoot two projectiles at once, which would glide in the air at the same height level as the player. This was already looking pretty good, but there was still a couple of things to add, such as voiceovers like the ones we've seen in the Skyforce game. So hold on to your hats because things are about to get wild. So I was on the hunt for the female artist for my game. I mean, let's be real. My voice isn't exactly the most feminine thing in the world. So of course, I'm not gonna record my approaching terminal. Scam begins. So I hit up Google to find some voiceover services and holy moly. Have you seen the prices on Fiverr? I'm a game developer, not a millionaire. That's when I stumbled upon the world of AI voices. And let me tell you, it's the whole new ball game. There are so many services out there that offer AI voiceovers for the game. After trying a few out, I decided to go with the Replica Studio. The price was right, the quality was top notch, and they have massive library of AI voices to choose from.
This is your new wing. Kill the malwares and collect bits so we can install new upgrades and find out who's behind these attacks.
And let me tell you about the nightmare I faced while working on the game scene. I was working on particularly on this game scene when suddenly BAM! The power went out and I was left sitting there in stunned silence. When the power finally came on, I quickly relaunched Unity to check on my project, only to be met with the sight that I would regret the most, a corrupted file error. I urgently searched my computer for any backup files, but sadly it was nowhere to be found. I turned to Google for help, hoping for a miracle, and that's when I found the solution. If you want to restore the scene file, you cannot relaunch the Unity editor after the crash. If you do, you will lose the scene files and all your progress. And I know I was screwed. All my progress, all my hard work, gone in an instant. And the lesson was learned. Always back up your work and don't be dumb like me. Fortunately, I remembered that I had recently switched the project from URP renderer to built-in renderer for optimization purpose. As a result, I had a backup file of the URP project, so I did not have to start everything from scratch. I managed to successfully recreate few things that I had lost and learned my lesson. So right now it's coming out very well, but still feels empty. So I modeled these low poly buildings in Blender, which was pretty easy task, and then imported them into Unity and added the fiber materials I created earlier. I added these buildings to the scene beside the road. Now it looks quite better. Now the city feels like being digital and everything's taking place inside the network. There's also these buildings which are kind of act like ads and will have the balloons above them that can be burst by the player projectile, and these are the ones that will be misleading. These things I'll be adding in the future development. I also added 3 difficulty level for this stage. In the first one, the enemy HP, damage and the amount of beats they produce when they die are 1 times. Everything will be twice in the second difficulty level and thrice in third. The player will need to complete the 4 medals for each level to unlock next difficulty level. Also added this boss at the end of the stage, which is the combination of hexapod and defenders and the flying turret, and which looks playable and challenging, but the boss feels like inevitable. But I'm planning to add more mechanics like player upgrade, which will be useful to complete the more difficult levels. We also got these crates, the normal ones adds up the score and the glowing ones gives you weapon upgrades, which increases the fire rate of the player's projectiles slightly. And there are currently 5 total upgrades spawned in the single level. So I think I covered everything up to this point in this devlog. If you watched this far, then you find this channel relevant and interesting, and you might find the future updates more interesting. So hit that subscribe button if you don't want to miss these updates, and to support this channel, that means a lot. You can unsub at any time. Hit the like button, comment, and I will see you in the next one. Have a great day.
Collect bits so we can install new upgrades.
Beam upgrade.
Just bust this and you'll have the upgrade.
Welcome back. I think you did not learn the lesson. I'll try to be gentle.
Real cash, just by playing this game. On my 50th birthday, I am genuinely happy to announce the prize pool of $10,000. The 10 winners will get $1,000 each.